That's nice. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I have a passion to take students to London and to England to expose them to another culture. And I do this every couple of years, and I want you to watch to see how they progress in the culture. The slides are shown in chronological order. So this is their orientation. You can see that this is the first day of class. They're on the stairs of St. Paul's, and they're not quite into the culture. But just wait a minute. That's a long 20 seconds. There they go. So they've culturized themselves, and they're starting to absorb through their fingertips the intricacies of English architecture. Well, I'm going to be a little bit more silent than the previous people. We take a look at London from above when we were getting oriented during the first 2 days. We climb to the top of St. Paul's, and then we fly the London Eye. And you can see the students there are focused on themselves rather than London. So they're not quite, totally acculturated. You would think of London as a city of pavement, but this is the students at Alexander Palace in the grounds, and they're talking about Passive House, which is a low-energy housing initiative with an architect and a stray dog. This is what the English call getting sorted. They're in the train station trying to figure out where their train is going to be and what track it might be on and what time it's going to leave and where it might actually take them. And they are actually, I think they're on their way to Bedzed, which was a low-energy project. The modern architecture in the UK is just as powerful as the ancient architecture. This is Chiswick Park. It's a Richard Rogers project, and Laban Dance Center is a Herzog and Huron project. We visit a lot of architects while we're there. This is a research studio, so the students are doing a lot of work on spocking things out. In the background, you can see the Shard, which is the tallest building in London, actually, and it's not quite done, at least not last summer. We also went to Wales and the Center for Alternative Technology, and the students worked with English students and actually international students on projects there. And this is them getting oriented at the new WISE building. Al Jazeera Europe thought this was really an interesting place, so while the students were there, they were filmed, and there's actually a video on YouTube featuring all the students going through the process at CAT. And you can see these wonderful models that they're working with are thermal simulators. We went to Oxford and visited an eco-house there that was designed and built by Sue Rofe. It uses hardly any energy. I believe Sue never pays for electricity because her photovoltaic array on the roof is bigger than she actually needs to support her house. Oxford is a really ancient city. This is Wall Street in Oxford, and you can see the students are kind of trailed out along the wall, trying to take in the scenery in Oxford. We also talked to many experts. This is a person who does post-occupancy evaluation of buildings, Bill Bordis, and his office is across the street from his flat, and it's basically a pub. And so we gather in the pub, and you can see that it doesn't rain all the time in London, but sometimes it does. This is the students took in. Much Ado About Nothing at the Globe Theater, and they were groundlings, so they got to stand here in the rain while it was raining, and the play went on. So culture was a big item on the trip. This is on top of the library at the Jubilee campus at the University of Nottingham. It's an example of really good sustainable architecture designed by Michael Hopkins Architects in London. And you can see the students were really interested in the things that were growing on the roof. But look at in the background. The University of Nottingham has an incredible sustainability program, and so they've been experimenting with all sorts of different residential building types, from early buildings to new buildings, and they're trying to figure out how to bring them up to reasonable carbon emission standards. The students finally got around to designing something on in this studio. They did one-day charrette. Some of the students work here at ERIC, which is an international, basically an engineering firm, but they do a lot of design work, and they make the reputations of a lot of architects by making the buildings work. Also, Seattle-based MBBJ has an office in London, and one of our alums works there, and she invited the students in to do the charrette at MBBJ in London as well. And then the next day, after the charrette, they got to do a public presentation of their work at the Building Center in London, which is a place that supports all sorts of incredible lectures and displays about architecture. Here's the cast. We're going to do this again in the summer